The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998. Live from the 540 ESPN studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this is the Pro Wrestling Report with David Hero, Frank Cosentino, Linda Kay, and your host, Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com on Monday, September 12, 2011. Damian Nelson here along with the lovely Linda Kay and David Octavius V. Tiberius, the alleged Hall of Famer hero. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you are.
Hey, Damian.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, I thought you needed something.
No, I'm good.
You're not cleared to speak yet.
Oh, sorry.
3 minutes in. Tonight, a big show. We're going to be talking about WWE RAW that just went off the air with an extremely heated exchange between CM Punk and Triple H. And really, I think that exchange built a lot of intrigue for this Sunday night's pay-per-view from WWE. We'll have some of your comments on that from our Facebook and Twitter pages in just a few minutes. Also in just a few minutes, joining us here on this program, Harry Smith, formerly D.H. Smith of WWE, is going to be with us live, appearing for the first time on this program. So there'll be some interesting conversation with Harry Smith in just a few minutes as Superstar September continues. We're going to talk about last night's TNA No Surrender pay-per-view and address what many of you are calling, quote-unquote, TNA hate. All the latest news, fan of the week, and your phone calls. And this week's theme of themes, you, as always, get to select the theme of themes tonight coming in and out of break. And, Linda, what is it tonight?
Tonight's theme of themes is Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada. How fitting. WWE RAW in Canada tonight.
Oh, they weren't in
Harry
Iowa tonight?
Smith from No, Ottawa.
Oh, I thought
Sounds
it was
like
Iowa.
Nor were they in New York City. Anyways, that's the theme of themes. You can head on over to our Facebook page to submit your suggestions, and maybe we'll pick yours. Linda, where is our Facebook page?
It is at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report.
Well, let's talk about WWE RAW that just went off the air and what just happened between CM Punk and Triple H. Some notable things from that conversation between those two men as they make their final stretch to try to sell us on ordering the pay-per-view called Night of Champions this Sunday night. CM Punk saying to Triple H, "You don't like me," saying that WWE too focused on the quote-unquote bodybuilder image of a star.
I almost thought that Punk was talking to me for a while there.
Well, Triple H did say a lot of things you've been saying on this program for the last number of years, most notably Triple H making admission that he was not a fan of CM Punk initially, who was not CM Punk, but John Cena initially, who is now the biggest star, arguably, in the wrestling business. A very, very real feeling, not saying it was real, a very real feeling promo, and David Hero, you sent out a tweet a few minutes ago that said, reference Triple H.
That's how you cut a promo. Because you felt it. You believed it. You knew what he was saying was from the heart. It wasn't scripted. I mean, for me, Punk coming out, and you know what? He's been amazing. He's been on fire. He's been dropping his quote-unquote hashtag pipe bombs since right before SummerSlam, But here's the thing. It's the same message every week. He's done nothing to change it up. It's the same whining and complaining. And that's only going to last so long. I mean, from a guy that was getting 3 to 4 segments every week, now just gets one to end the show. And I think Triple H kind of got over on him tonight.
You say that, David Hero, and I got to challenge you on that because I think there was a lot of freshness in what was said by CM Punk tonight. It seems like all of a sudden you're a CM Punk hater.
Now, do not start that. I get enough
I
flack.
said it seems. I'm giving you now the opportunity in 12 seconds or less to defend yourself.
Well, first of all, I'm not a hater of CM Punk. It's just, to me, it sounds the same. He's done nothing different. It's the ice cream bars comment. It's being held back. And, Triple H was right. Triple H was right. He's gotten a ton of opportunity. 2, Money in the Banks, a couple world titles. He's been in main events. He's got action figures. He's got everything going for him. The guy hasn't been held back. And let's face it, the only reason why he's as over with the crowd as he is today is because he was given that scenario, that promo, when he sat atop of the Titantron ramp and ripped the WWE, Triple H, Stephanie, Johnny Ace, and Vinnie Mac. Like I said before, if they were to have given The Miz that opportunity, or R-Truth that opportunity, hell, even Cody Rhodes that opportunity, that person will be getting this same kind of reaction.
Cody Rhodes is busy getting 1, 2, 3 pinfalls on world champions. Give him some slack there. Listen to this, David Hero.
I'm listening. This should be interesting.
Yes, that opportunity was created, but at the same time, you can't doubt that the 6 months leading up to it, CM Punk had a legitimate gripe. If you wanted, they talked about the last 6 years. They talked about how many opportunities he's gotten. Yes, 2-time Money in the Bank winner. Yes, former world champion, if not WWE champion, whatever it was. This is truly the first time we've seen what could be called the real CM Punk. What I mean by that is, whether it's written for him or not, that believability factor is there. The Rey Mysterio stuff was awesome. Remember when he said happy birthday to Rey's niece, nephew, daughter, whatever it was? And then the whole Jeff Hardy thing. A lot of people loved CM Punk during those situations as well, but those situations were pretty contained to SmackDown. Now on the grand scale that is Raw, and now with the people involved, such as Triple H, such as Vince McMahon, such as John Cena, CM Punk is as good as the people he's around, right?
Well, of course.
And look who he's around now. That's what makes this different. And I think we're seeing a believability in this whole story. And
who do you believe more?
Who do I believe more? Triple H, beyond a shadow of a doubt. But at the same time, I believe CM Punk as well, and the fans, David Hero, those people Triple H were talking about tonight, gravitate towards what CM Punk is saying. And you know what's interesting about that is you hear people talk about the 10, 20% of the 10%ers, if you will, that are on the internet, that see these things as problems, that talk about these things as problems that CM Punk has talked about. Well, there are a lot more than 10% of the wrestling audience cheering and following CM Punk, and I got to say, they are doing so not only because they like what he says, but that they, too, believe what he is saying.
I definitely agree. And a lot of our fans, Damian Nelson, just replied on our Facebook post regarding the end of Raw just now. A lot of pipe bomb references, including...
Aren't those illegal?
I've never played with a pipe bomb before. I wouldn't know.
Wayne
Ninja, please.
Saying this is the third straight go-home show in which CM Punk was involved in a good promo to end the show. I mean, there's a lot of comments similar to that. And John E. Crawley saying Punk is amazing. I think it was one of the best one-on-one promos I've seen in a while. Wow, great stuff. And actually, Don, I agree with you. I believe, obviously, yeah, Triple H, more believable, but CM Punk just relating to the fans more and just getting more involved with it. I don't know. I appreciate it. And just hearing them all chanting CM Punk when you put the mic out to them, loved it.
Well, those comments can be shared with us vocally as well here on this program tonight. We're going to be entering the phone zone at the 11 o'clock hour after Harry Smith, so you can give us a call at that point. We got a couple of people waiting on hold. It'd be best if you gave us a call back after that, after the 11 o'clock hour. A couple of comments on Twitter, David Hero, referenced this whole thing. We got a lot more Raw to talk about, but this is a good segment or a good thing to be talking about. Firstly, on Twitter, and this one's going to require a response from you there, David Hero, since you're the hater of this company. MJ Hicks is the username. He says, so we're supposed to be entertained by a whiny Punk going all insider on us. When TNA does it, it's pooed on, but it's okay in the E?
See, how about that? You know, there are some smart wrestling fans out there.
It's all in the delivery. It's all in the delivery.
Absolutely.
Name somebody in TNA who can deliver the same believability that CM Punk is delivering right now. Bully Ray executed.
Ken Anderson.
He hasn't. I don't think anybody's seen him come close to having the opportunity to prove that point.
Exactly. I'm saying that's why Punk is so over. He's had a tremendous opportunity.
And there's your difference with how it might be okay in WWE and not so okay in TNA because.
Listen,
it's
when
Punk
first dropped his first pipe bomb, I loved it. It was fresh. It was new. It's the same story, the same promo every week. Poor me, woe is me. Eventually, listen, Triple H is so good that eventually the fans
Or is that damn good?
are going to pay attention to him more and be like, wow, you know what? Triple H is right. Punk is just being whiny and saying the same thing every week. Everything H said was dead spot on.
But didn't they allow that to continue by cutting his microphone tonight? Because clearly he was held back.
Well, no, because this is how Vinnie Mac is going to somehow magically appear like the great
Who's Vinnie Mac?
kazoo.
Cousin Jack?
Yeah, Cousin Jack. Absolutely. He's going to be there, and, well, wait, not Cousin Jack, but Vinnie Mac will be there.
Cousin Jack's been on Raw
Or
before,
Johnny
though.
Ace. I mean, listen, it's all laying the groundwork to screw Punk more because eventually this whole thing is going to get old and stale, and they got to keep him fresh going through WrestleMania.
I can't believe you're poo-pooing this so much.
Stop. See, this is how it starts. I'm going to be known as the guy that hates everything, and it's not the
Linda,
case.
have you talked to the Pope lately? D'Angelo De Niro?
I have not. Have you?
He stopped taking David's calls.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a little frustrating.
A couple of more comments on Twitter. This one from Twitter username Aggressive Sock. And Punk was right. Listen to his reaction from Survivor Series with DX and the Hardys, Edge and Orton. He got the biggest pop. So David Hero, and all of you listening out there, CM
And you
Punk,
know what? Hold on. There's a lot listening at Blackthorn. I guess we're on the loudspeakers at Blackthorn.
well, when you talk, it's on the loudspeakers. When I talk,
Because
it's on
people
the
want
soft
to
and
listen.
soothing speakers.
No, because people want to hear what I have to say. Go ahead. You can finish now. You'll be fine.
Paul Michael P. If Punk is as good as those around him, then he was on fire when he faced The Undertaker. All right. Well, Kirby Equal Sexy, username on Twitter, the CM Punk storyline is so stale. He does the same thing every week. So, David Hero, one person can't appeal to all. However, if there's one voice of the wrestling fan in wrestling right now, it's CM Punk. And what do wrestling fans want? They want a voice for
You know what?
the voiceless.
I think he is the voice of the loudest wrestling fan. I don't think he is the voice of the average wrestling fan.
So who's the voice of
But
the
then
average
why are they
wrestling
behind
fan?
him? Why are they
Because
chanting
they're the
his
loudest.
name?
Because they're the loudest.
No. Of the 17,000 or so people
I
there.
highly doubt the family of 5 show up and mom and dad are cheering for CM Punk.
They are not. They are the.
Okay.
They are
And that's the average wrestling fan.
They are the Let's Go Cenas. But you have half the audience as well saying Cena sucks. Don't tell me half the audience is as into professional wrestling as fans like you and I are.
No,
There's
of
no
course
way.
not.
So thus, therefore,
Because that's our
he
job.
is
That's our
definitely
livelihood.
appealing. He is definitely appealing to wrestling fans.
No, he's appealing to the ones that make the most noise.
Which is the audience you want. He's appealing to the Stone Cold audience. Yes or no?
Yes.
And then I ask, what's the problem if it's working?
Because it's not. It has slowed down. If you look at the audience, okay, I didn't see a whole lot of CM Punk shirts in the audience. Now, who knows? Maybe they sold out or didn't bring any with them.
They blend in. Customs.
The woo 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 shirt.
Security's
fell out.
tight this week, you know.
I'm sorry, which one?
The Broski shirt.
They only make 3 a week.
Oh, and the question you asked me before we went on air, maybe that's why.
Seriously, they don't make that many of the woo 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 you know it shirts.
It's a lot of ink.
A ton
It's
of
a
it.
big face.
Absolutely.
I will say this.
Listen, I don't
I'm
want this
listening.
being
That's what these headphones
spun
are for.
that I'm like anti CM Punk.
But-
I think he's been great for wrestling, but they got to be careful that they don't overdo it. Make it a little more special. Once in a while, Punk just has to come to the ring and say, you know what? I've said enough. Now my actions are going to speak for me. Because you can only say the same thing so many times in different scenarios and languages before eventually people stop listening.
Did they ever stop listening to Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Completely different. You cannot compare one of the best talkers in the entire history of the business to CM Punk.
I can compare them
It was
on
a
these
different
merits.
era.
I can compare them on these merits. You're exactly right. It was a different era, but I can compare them on these merits. Anti-establishment. Doesn't like the boss. The male audience gets firmly behind them. Who else does the male? They don't have Orton. They don't have Cena. They don't have Alberto Del Rio. They don't have Cody Rhodes. They don't have, well, maybe Miz and R-Truth. Who else is going to fit that 1834 male demographic that's going to go and cheer for somebody at a WWE show, it's not any of the people who are on top of the show right now. That's why they need a CM Punk. That's why CM Punk is getting as over as he's getting.
So do you think the guys that are buying their 4 or 5 beers at these shows are cheering for CM Punk?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
The straight-edge guys?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that they are, but I'm just saying you're comparing Stone Cold that could relate to the working man. The working man
CM Punk
can't relate with CM Punk.
Why not?
Because the working man likes to come home and untuck and, pop a cold one and all that kind of stuff. I said untuck. All right?
Ginger, please.
It's just different.
It is different, and much like you accuse me of spinning you, I'm not going to let you spin me right round, baby, right round like an aeroplane. I am not comparing CM Punk to Stone Cold, except on the merit that I just did, which is the same fans gravitate towards that type person/character. CM Punk, Stone Cold Steve Austin on 2 entirely different levels, but arguably Stone Cold Steve Austin changed the business with one promo, 1996, right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
CM Punk, while it's only been 2 months, changed the business with one promo back in June.
Because if you would have changed it, there'd be a pipe bomb T-shirt right now, and there
is
one.
His CM Punk shirt that says best. People would not be. There would be no shirt. They would not be buying it if it was not for that promo. There would be no Austin 316 shirt
best in
if
the
not
world
for that promo. Nobody listened. Nobody cared. Now they care. Now they believe it. Now they see it. Now they want it. Now they buy it.
Now you're comparing Austin 316 to Punk.
Oh, there are similarities, David Hero.
Did you take your flu medicine today? Did you get your shot yet? You must be
Jameson?
ill.
Rumpelman's?
Either or. Jameson or Rumpelman's. And let me just make this clear for the 10th time in the last, 16 minutes? I am not hating on CM Punk.
I am not comparing CM Punk to Stone Cold, except on the merits by which I mentioned.
Be careful when you just jam the same message down every. Look what happened to The Rock. He got a Rocky sucks. Be careful. Just saying. I've watched wrestling long enough. I see how these things come and go. I see the roller coaster ride. I've seen the cycles. I've talked to guys in the business that tell me the same thing. So it's not just my opinion. It's people that work in it that are saying, you know what? He says he's the best, but it's the same message every week. He needs to change it up or it's not the best.
But the fans, the people, the population,
but the fans
the humanoid.
Stupid. They will eventually, I said the fans are not stupid. They will eventually get it. They will eventually say, you know what? This sounds like some other guy talking about change and nothing's happened. Just saying.
Read the list. You were at that debate tonight, weren't you?
I couldn't watch it. You wouldn't let me.
Well, because they're not allowed on this TV and here in the studio. Anyways, I disagree completely on that point because the wrestling fans are enjoying it. Now, they got sick, some of them did, of Hulk Hogan. They got sick, some of them did, of Stone Cold Steve Austin. They got sick, many of them did, of The Rock, especially in 2002. Remember SummerSlam when The Rock almost got booted out of the building up against Brock Lesnar? They get done.
See?
They always get done with a particular character. CM Punk should be no different. But at this point in time, the average wrestling fan that you mentioned earlier is enjoying this ride. So why not just let them?
The average wrestling fan is not a CM Punk fan.
They are.
They are.
Okay, you know what? You're both wrong.
No,
here's
look,
why you're both wrong. No.
Not the Cena fan.
No, because here's why.
Here's
you
why.
go to Toys R Us. You go to Target. You go to any place that sells wrestling action figures, and you will always see CM Punk on the shelves. Always.
No. I think you meant to say something else. You will always see who on the shelves?
Besides Cody Rhodes, you will always see CM Punk on the shelves. You don't see a whole lot of John Cena's. You don't see a lot of Randy Orton.
And your assumption on this whole wrestling figure thing is those are the ones people aren't buying. Yet, they only make 3 Zack Ryder T-shirts because they know that no one's going to buy them. So wouldn't that same thing apply to the action figures?
They make more John Cena's than they do CM Punks.
Absolutely.
Yes, and there's no Cena's on the shelves. Someday, Damien.
But that's a different audience, David Hero.
You will see
categorize,
the light of superhero-ness, and you will finally agree that I'm right.
Let's categorize the wrestling fans, okay? If we may be so bold as to do so.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Got the women and children.
This will be interesting.
In general.
Yeah, you got Linda and Cal. Okay.
And they like?
John Cena.
John Cena.
Okay.
He's a great wrestler.
You've got the college kids, the college guys, the college students that go to wrestling shows, what do they want? Blood and guts.
Well, I was going to say Al Snow, but that's different.
Then you've got the adults who are dragged along with the women and children, who in some cases don't even want to be there. Who do they got?
The dads want to see the Divas, and the moms want to see
there's
John
Cena.
Cena. Yeah, there you go.
So in that categorization, you've got one group that wants to see Cena potentially. You've got one group that wants to see CM Punk potentially.
Right.
You got another group that want to see
The Miz.
Kelly.
You know what? I bet you more
Miz
college
falls
kids
into
want
that
to see
college
The Miz
category.
than CM Punk.
Why is that?
Because he's a frat boy. They all hang out together. Punk is like the outsiders, Pony Boy, that kind of stuff. Listen, I'm not – okay, this is all getting twisted. I'm just saying look at the facts. The average wrestling fan is not a CM Punk fan.
But you can't –
They like him.
Okay, I misspoke earlier when I said average wrestling fan because that term doesn't really exist. The mainstream wrestling fan are those women and children who love John Cena. Now, there is a scattering of those other groups who love John Cena as well, the Cena generation, the Cena crowd, if you will. But David Hero, I got to tell you this. Before CM Punk came along, there were Cena sucks chants.
Of course.
That crowd, that group, as loud as they may or may not have been, that group needed somebody to follow, needed somebody to be a fan of. CM Punk and WWE, most importantly, filled that void last June.
Listen, I would rather be John Cena with the John Cena sucks chance and the $25 million a year paycheck than anybody else. It doesn't matter. I just got a tweet saying that there's CM Punk figures on the shelves because the Punk fans are too old to play with dolls. Maybe so, but the average wrestling fan is the kids, and they're not buying them. That's where all the money is coming from.
But there's no average wrestling fan.
Yes, there is.
There is not.
Whatever.
Okay, there is. No. You just helped me categorize wrestling fans.
You do that by yourself. I didn't help with anything. That was all your mindset and brainstorm action. I disagree with everything you said, but I gave you your moment.
We're on Twitter, Linda Kay.
Twitter.com/PWR show.
Well, and a lot of you conversating on Twitter. I know that's not a word, but I use it, and I'll continue to do so.
You know what? It's your show. You can say whatever you want.
On Twitter about this here talk about CM Punk, which was not the way we were supposed to spend the first 22 minutes, by the way.
You started it.
Well, but you know what? That's what it's all about.
It's great conversation. You know what? I want to hear what the listeners think, how wrong or right I am.
Phone zone,
or how
11
wrong
o'clock.
you are.
Phone zone, 11 o'clock p.m. Give us a call, 414-276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-3776.
540 ESPN.
You think you know me?
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live on Monday night, September 12, 2011. Damian Nelson along with the lovely Linda Kay and David Hero. We're talking about WWE RAW that went off the air just a little while ago, and tonight's theme of themes is Oh Canada.
Thank you, Day Lazoo, for choosing Edge. Love
Zazu?
that theme. Lazoo.
Oh, just in time for the Lion King movie. Coming on 3D on Friday, you know.
Okay. I think we'll put to bed this conversation about CM Punk and Triple H. One thing is for sure, David Hero.
I'm not going to bed.
If not for Punk, Triple H,
Mm-hmm.
and that whole situation in WWE right now,
Yes.
what else would wrestling have?
They'd have ADR.
With his
John
$5
Cena.
necklace?
That sucked.
But, you know, I was wondering, did you notice in his match how it, like, there was this green line around his neck and down onto his chest
Yeah.
from the bad gold?
He obviously didn't put the clear nail polish on the necklace. So it wouldn't, come off on his skin.
Your conversations have been amazing in the chat room on Blog Talk Radio, continuing talking about what we were talking about in the last segment. But, David Hurl, to answer that question I just asked a minute ago, there is a lot more going on Raw, and we saw a lot more happen tonight. We saw Bret Hart back on WWE Raw as they were in Canada, not just back, but in a wrestling matchup as he teamed with John Cena to take on Alberto Del Rio and Roberto Rodriguez.
You know, Double R, he took some bumps tonight. He was flying all over the place.
Well, it may not be well enough known that he is a professional wrestler in Florida Championship Wrestling.
Dub.
And he knows how to, what do you say, bump? Is that how it goes?
FC Dub. Yeah, he took some bumps. He was flying all over the place.
He eventually ended up tapping out to the sharpshooter from Bret Hart, who, of course, was a hometown hero in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
They're in Iowa tonight?
Ottawa. O-T-T-O-W-A, not I-O-W-A.
Why am I thinking Iowa? I don't know. One of your things.
The Miz and R-Truth came up with what I think, if not for Monday Night Football, would have been a trending topic on Twitter. Ninja, please.
Ninja, please.
Yes, like, hi, yeah, ninja. Stars.
Little mushy action
like
going on with those guys.
I'm sorry?
Mushy.
Yoshitatsu?
No, it's
Kung Fu Naki?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Kung Fu Naki.
Well, anyways, you know, each week, and we talked about this last week, the more and more we see the Miz and R-Truth together, the better they are. It's the odd couple, but it's an odd couple that I don't think can be lost in the shuffle. They are on their way to something very, very special, I think, as a tag team in WWE. And this Sunday at Night of Champions, they get an opportunity against Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne for the tag team championships. David Hero, your thoughts on the former WWE champion, the man who headlined WrestleMania with John Cena, The Miz, and his partner R-Truth?
I think those guys are great. I really think that tag team is going to have legs, no pun intended for Vinnie Mac. But, do I think they're going to get past Kofi and Bourne Sunday? Probably not. But it's just
save it for Be the Booker.
I will. That's why I said,
unless you choose not to do it this week.
You know what? Stop.
We'll get to that later.
Yes.
We will address that whole situation later on.
But
you don't want to talk about CM Punk anymore.
Those two guys, I think, can be just as dynamic as when Miz was teaming up with Big Show. I think they can be just as dominant and just as good because they're two. They can both talk. They both have a good reputation, and they have something to prove. I like that pairing. At first, I'm like, Miz is a backup singer. But now, I like it. I know you're frustrated with the whole thing because you want to see the Miz just be on his own.
Oh, I'm fine with it. And you say that the Miz could have been CM Punk. Well, isn't he? He's saying the same thing, sort of, kind of.
But he's not given the same platform.
Shoes?
Okay, and they're talking about the conspiracy?
Conspiracy.
Yeah, conspiracy. C-O-N-spiracy. Conspiracy. And it's making sense. It's the same thing as Punk, but they're not getting the promo time with Triple H. They're not getting the promo time with John Laurinaitis.
Well, speaking of time, this man's getting his well-deserved time as of late on WWE programming, and he is doing so as a good guy. His name is Sheamus, the Great White Hope, I think is what JR was calling him tonight. He teamed up with Jerry Lawler to take on the team of David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy. Now, what was interesting about that is before the matchup, they let them both prove to us how bad they were on a microphone. And David Otunga mentions how he's a Harvard schooled attorney, lawyer, whatever.
Graduate.
And then McGillicuddy refers to his father. And then Jerry Lawler refers to his father. David Hero, I found it interesting that we would hear that Dusty Rhodes was the father of Cody Rhodes later on, but we never heard who McGillicuddy's father was.
Because they don't want McGillicuddy to get over that like that. They don't want to get the sympathy pop. They want people to boo him. And if they mention that his father was schnapps, there's just a ton of problems. It's not going to work.
Sheamus is just simply
fantastic.
Great. It was really a Night of Champions, was it or was it not, in that Money in the Bank matchup where Sheamus was reborn, if you will, in the audience's eyes. And ever since then, he's been just mowing through the competition. And Sheamus as a good guy, unlike Randy Orton as a good guy, I think works. And Sheamus was a monster. Sheamus was destroying everybody from ECW through Raw to becoming WWE champion. And now
Sheamus looks like he's happy.
Right.
There's a comfort level with him right now.
He looks right being happy.
Yes. And you know what? I've liked Sheamus from the beginning. I think he had to take that route he went to get where he is now. The guy is going to be a big star. I mean, he is their stud. He is their, like they call him, the Great White.
He's waiting in the wings. Meaning, we saw this whole Mark Henry build, and now we see he gets the match with Orton this Sunday at Night of Champions. It seems like Sheamus is simmering on the same burner, if you will, and is ready to be launched into that role with whoever it may be.
I made the comment when we were watching this. I'm like, wouldn't Sheamus be a great Paul Orndorff? Like
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, like the guy that turned on Hulk Hogan. Like, let's just say, I don't want to give it away, but this week's Be the Booker, I promise you it will make up for last week's. I just see
What's there to make up for?
We didn't give it much time. But,
neither did they.
But let me just say this. Sheamus has the potential to really go into something big going into WrestleMania.
Is Dolph Ziggler going to be another person who will soon be walking around with a smile on his face, David Hero?
Well, once he loses Vicky, absolutely.
Excuse me?
With Dolph Ziggler, if you notice, he grew his hair out. He's changing his look again.
Well, he did that for 6 weeks in a row, and every week it was different.
Something different about Dolph Ziggler. I mean, obviously it's going to be a program with him and Jack Swagger, which I think will be some great wrestling because Swagger can go and so can Dolphy Z. Let's just hope that they're not going to be fighting over the affections of Vicky Guerrero.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Why would you want to?
Vicky's a cougar.
Yeah, but they're younger, prettier, and have more money. That's what they got to do.
Oh, that's the way you like them.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if you're going to do it, do it for the money now. Come on.
Kelly versus the aforementioned Vicky Guerrero.
You know what? And that frustrated me also.
Why?
Why does Kelly need help to beat Vicky Guerrero?
She didn't get help necessarily.
Yes, she did.
All right.
I mean,
but
Swagger
pushing
comes down
forward
there, interferes with Dolph Ziggler, which then gets Vicky frustrated so they can just roll her up.
Well, but we did hear it's going to be a four-way match at Night of Champions. Ziggler, Swagger,
but
Riley.
We're not talking about that.
Morrison.
Kelly needs to look strong going into her match with Beth Phoenix, not getting a quick roll-up 1, 2, 3 over a non-wrestler.
Beth got involved after the match.
It wasn't done right. But let me guess, I'm probably hating on the product again, even though...
Oh, no, this time you're not.
If
you were hating earlier on CMPunks.
If you want to make it like that she has a chance, then let her truly beat Vicky Guerrero by herself.
You're right.
Now she looks like a weak champion going in against Beth Phoenix.
Okay, and she looks strong?
She looks weak right now.
But did she look strong before looking weaker
tonight?
What?
If she would have beaten Vicky without help from somebody else, yes, she would have looked stronger.
All right.
Linda, what do you think?
I do agree. Like, if just because I have that quick pin, that doesn't really show how strong she could be going into Night of Champions, and they should have given her more of a match.
Y'all are just hating on Vicky, all right?
I like Vicky.
I love Vicky. I love Vicky.
What's your problem with Cougars?
Fabulous. I don't have a problem with Cougars. Come on, stop. You are manipulating this entire show.
I'm hosting.
You are trying to be the good cop, making me have to be the bad cop.
I don't have a badge. I have handcuffs.
Hope you got the keys for him.
The big newsworthy story tonight on Raw was the second pairing, the second champion versus champion match between Cody Rhodes, future world champion, and Randy Orton. David Hero, I'd love to hear you share with the listening audience all over the world the results of that particular matchup. The Intercontinental Champion versus the World Heavyweight Champion tonight on Raw.
The Ultimate Warrior beat Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 6.
Tonight on Raw.
Oh, that wasn't the flashback?
No. It was not the Kaboom of the Week.
Did I miss that?
You didn't. No, you didn't miss it. Let me refresh your memory as to how it went down.
Okay.
That was a 3 count in the center
Cody
of the
was
ring.
Counting. Oh, you know what? Congratulations, Cody Rhodes. You know what?
You finally admit it? I finally turned you around on The Miz, I think, where you finally admitted that he is one of the most talented guys in the business.
I never said that.
Deserved to be WWE champion.
I never said that
You appreciate
either.
the journey of The Miz.
I just want him to score me some points. I don't care what he does. Just get some points once in a while. You know what? Cody Rhodes had to beat Randy Orton tonight. He has to look vulnerable going into Mark Henry. See, that's the thing. When there's babies and heels, and you just got to set that tone and set that story. I would have rather have seen Randy Orton get the RKO over on Cody just to shut you up for the night, and also...
When Cody came out second after the commercial break, I knew he was winning. When Mark Henry came down, I knew he was winning. See, I've got faith, David Hero.
Okay, George.
No, Punk.
The thing is this. Cody Rhodes, they had to put him over.
You just can't do it, can you? You cannot sit in that chair in your nice little shirt and tie.
Okay.
And give Cody Rhodes the credit for that 1-2-3 pinfall victory tonight against Randy Orton.
I said he won. I thought it was great. They had to build him up, make him stronger. Now he has a win.
It's these disclaimers you put on
over
the
world because it's
You're like a pharmaceutical commercial.
Which one?
Well,
you get headaches?
Only 4 hours later.
Makes you nauseous?
Well, Cody Rhodes gets a pin on Randy Orton. You know, SmackDown this week, David Hero, we hear that Edge is going to be a part of the program. He's a special guest superstar, and Edge will be on SmackDown this Friday night.
You know, they're doing everything they can to try to pop a rating on SmackDown, aren't they?
Well, we learned tonight SmackDown's been the #1 show on Sci-Fi for the last 50 weeks.
Oh, it's that or Doctor Who. What else
Doctor
is there?
Who is on BBC America.
Is it on Sci-Fi?
No.
Oh.
Gosh. You're just not cultured sometimes.
Oh, I'm cultured. I eat lots of yogurt.
Has anybody seen Harry Smith? We're trying to get a hold of Harry, and he's supposed to be on the program tonight. Where's the booking committee around here? Somebody may lose their job if we can't get Harry on this show tonight.
You know, isn't Frank the one that booked him, and now Frank's
Where's
not here
Frank?
tonight?
This is 2 weeks running. You didn't let him go, did you?
No.
Times are not tough.
I don't fire anybody around here.
Huh.
That's your gig.
Well, while we still try to get Harry on the line, we're going to go to your phone calls. The number 414-276-ESPN or all over the world, 1-800-990-ESPN. And we did ask earlier, reference that conversation we had at the beginning of the program about CM Punk, spirited at times, opinionated for sure on the side of David Hero. For whatever reason, he just doesn't like CM Punk. We want to hear what you have to say.
You're such a jack.
We want to hear what you have to... Ninja, please. We want to hear what you have to say about that whole conversation earlier. Let's first go to Eric in Michigan, who's waiting on line 2. Eric, you're live.
Damien, hand off the hang-up button. None of that. All right. Hi, Linda.
Who's
Hello?
Not yours, I guess.
Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, guys. All right. So the CM Punk thing. CM Punk's doing a lot of good. I've been watching wrestling for almost 24 years now, and he is definitely doing what Stone Cold did. And not, of course, to the caliber, but you don't have all those big stars for him to go over on. And, of course, they're going to put in big-name guys. But he's doing what he can with what he has. Everybody's tired of the same old formulaic stuff. So, I mean, you got that going on, and CM Punk's going to do what he can to get over.
So you're a CM Punk fan?
Since Ring of Honor.
Do you think that it's getting old or stale or the same thing week after week from CM Punk?
Yes, this is exactly what's going on, and
is that a problem for you?
It's a problem when he has a mentor like Stone Cold. You can watch him talk back and forth on Twitter, and these two are definitely close friends, and the guy wants to help him. But he's getting stale because I think there's a little bit of them holding him back from saying what he needs to say.
Well, everything is indeed planned. That comes out of the mouths of WWE programmers.
He's ripped everybody.
I think he said some new stuff tonight, David Hero.
No. The same
I think
thing
they went deeper tonight. You're hearing the same thing, but I think some fans and Eric...
I listen and I hear.
Eric,
unlike everybody else around here.
What'd you say?
I said I listen and I hear.
Eric, did you hear or get anything different from any of the words that came out of CM Punk's mouth tonight?
Very little, little to nothing, really. And this guy is by far one of my favorites in the business right now, but the problem is he is repeating a lot. And if there was anything new out of that, it was laughable because the whole show tonight was abysmal.
Really?
I almost watched football tonight, and I don't even watch football.
Wow. All right. Well, Eric in Michigan, thank you very much for that call. You know, I got to say, David Hero, I guess in closing about WWE Raw,
I was right.
I've never said those words because it's never happened. Raw wasn't bad tonight. I didn't think so anyways. I thought they delivered solid progression leading into Sunday's pay-per-view. Your thoughts on Raw overall as a show?
I think that they undershadowed the rest of the show, of the pay-per-view. It seemed like they focused a little bit on Del Rio and Cena, which I think is going to be a good match. They've done a good job of keeping those two separated. You know, they are banking that people are going to buy the pay-per-view because of Punk and Triple H.
You don't think they will?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a must-buy pay-per-view. I really think it is because it's one of the few times Triple H will be getting in the ring. I think this is going to set the tone for the rest of the year going through the Royal Rumble. And this is going to be one of the main building blocks going towards WrestleMania.
All right, well, let's go to another phone call. And remember, you can join us. The number 414-276-ESPN. We do have Harry Smith as a scheduled guest tonight. We are trying to track him down. Did you text him?
Yes.
SMS? MMS?
I did text him.
All right. What about, did you BBM him?
No, I don't BBM anymore.
You're hip now. All right, let's go to our next caller, Dwayne, down in Charlotte. Dwayne, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
How y'all doing tonight?
Tremendous.
Dwayne.
Wonderful.
I would have to say about the whole CM Punk angle and Triple H. I kind of agree with you both.
Oh.
On the side of Damian, where it has that, you know, Austin McMahon feel to it. It's new and it's fresh. And then on the side of David, as to where his promos are becoming a little bit the same week in and week out. You know, maybe he needs to, you know, change it up a little bit. Instead of saying it's more about him, you know, he should say it's more about, you know, he should just start naming wrestlers like, you know, Kofi Kingston or Evan Bourne, or wrestlers that were, you know, not getting the proper push that they should.
Are you saying he needs a stable?
Yeah, I think
he
so.
had that a few months ago. It's called the New Nexus.
No. He needs a stable of disgruntled wrestlers who, you know, never really got an opportunity. You know, he should just name guys, you know, that's in independence right now, such as
but there's a reason.
Black.
But now why would they bring in guys that are disgruntled, that are on the indies now? Obviously, they're not drawing any money, so why would they want to bring them back?
Well, no, I'm saying the guys that they have, such as Tyler Black, they got him down to FCW.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of just putting them on the main roster. Me personally, I you know, when I watch McGillicuddy and Otunga, and you can tell that. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what do they learn down there, actually. You know what I'm saying?
They don't learn much in FCW. They really don't.
I mean, they do not, like, a lot of the new guys that they bring up that, you know, that may not have went through the whole independent scene, they're not that good. They can barely cut a promo, and they just don't understand I don't think they understand the concept of wrestling versus someone who came up from the independent, you know, that was, you know, making $20 a week, or you know what I mean?
And Triple H spoke on that recently. We'll have some of those comments when we come back from the break. He spoke about the lack of independent promotions across the country and what they may or may not be doing to address that. You know, and thank you very much for that call, Dwayne, down in Charlotte. You know, we've talked about that in the show many times, David Hero, about that lack of
there's no playground for the indie guys.
Farming for the indie groups, and there are great organizations all around the country, GLCW being one of them, obviously. And I do believe this Saturday night it's showtime in Cedarburg.
The Young and the Wrestlers.
I'm sorry?
The Young and the Wrestlers.
Didn't
Eric
that get
Young,
canceled?
the TNA TV champion, is coming to Cedarburg.
Eric Young.
GLCW. Yes.
Scott Baio?
No, he's not going to be there.
No.
And it's going to be this Saturday night, 7:30 bell time, Circle B, Highway 60 in Cedarburg. It's going to be Silas Young, who has just competed in Dragon Gate against Eric Young. Go to blizzardbrawl.com for more information. Tickets start at $10. It's going to be a great show. Lots of fun. TNA TV champion Eric Young. How about that?
You can see him at the Young and the Wrestlers without Susan Lucci this Saturday, Circle B, Cedarburg. Linda, I understand it's going to be a great show coming up this Saturday night from GLCW. Well, we are still going to be taking your phone calls. We're still trying to find Harry Smith. I think, we're still trying to find Harry Smith.
Well, we got to find Frank first to get the number. Obviously, we have the wrong number. Thanks, Frank. Toolbox.
Hey, wait a minute.
Well, he's not here. He's sabotaging the show.
You hate CM Punk and you hate Frank.
I love Frank, but come on. Jeez, Christmas. You know, cheese and crackers, the whole deal.
We're going to take your phone calls again as well in the second hour. Still to come, we're going to talk about TNA's No Surrender pay-per-view last night, a little bit of an explanation as to what happened last week on PWR Primetime, because a lot of questions have been asked David Hero about Be the Booker or lack thereof last week, and I think the explanation is worth tuning in for. Linda's got your comments from Facebook and Twitter, and we also have Fan of the Week, more of your phone calls, news, and a question that I don't think you'll be able to easily answer regarding John Cena, The Rock, and Randy Orton. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live with the Pro Wrestling Report on Monday, September 12, 2011. Damian Nelson here along with Linda Kay, the social media diva, and the David Hero. So, Linda, tonight the theme of themes is, you know what I can't get out of my head?
Last night?
No, last Friday night. At WrestleMania 6. Was it Rene Goulet? Robert Goulet.
Robert Goulet.
Who sang "Oh Canada" at WrestleMania? He knows the anthem. Anyways, Linda, who picked that?
Thank you, Kevin Halloran, for picking late great Owen Hart.
The theme of themes. And we've been talking about WWE RAW tonight and so much more. We've been taking your phone calls as well. And as we said, our scheduled guest tonight, Harry Smith.
I just got the run sheet. How about that?
Well, everybody got a new printer, and you are just so in love with your old one.
And now I finally get this.
It's dot matrix. Get inkjet or laser like all of us.
All right.
Still taking your phone calls and your comments via the chat room on Blog Talk Radio, on Twitter at PWR Show, and Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report. David Hero, next week we move to Channel 24 right here in Milwaukee. Saturday
24?
night, My 24, Saturday nights, 10 o'clock p.m., the Pro Wrestling Report prime time goes big time.
Saturday nights?
Yes, SATURDAY.
Holy crap, that kind of puts a damper on our social life if we're doing Saturday nights now.
Oh, I'll be fine. I got some extras coming down to the studio on Saturdays.
Really?
Well, yeah.
That's how rumors
Why
start.
go there when they can come to you?
I guess. Well, yeah. You got the Amex. We'll be fine.
And this Thursday on Primetime, our final Thursday show right after Impact Wrestling, by the way.
Well, wait, you need to address this. People can
We're going to do that in a minute.
Our stuff, right?
Absolutely.
The shows.
We'll still be on YouTube, of course. And actually, we're bringing you more product. And we'll have all the details of that this Thursday night on Primetime.
I never got that memo.
5 out of 7 days a week, David Hero, there'll be a new episode of the Pro Wrestling Report.
And
you're not on half of them.
So I'm not on 2.5 of them?
No, neither are you.
That's
man.
Fine. Whatever.
How do you feel about Ashton Kutcher?
You know, it'll be fine.
Replacing...
You know what? I mean, come on.
Will it be better or worse than Darren?
Darren?
You know, Bewitched.
Listen, Charlie Sheen was a stud on that show. Ashton will be okay. He won't be great. He'll be okay. He'll be fine.
Let's go back to the phones and more of your phone calls. The number 414-276-ESPN. Again, that's 414-276-ESPN or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. And still to come in this hour, we're going to talk about TNA No Surrender last night, address the quote-unquote TNA hate, and some news on Survivor Series, Roddy Piper, Rosa Mendez, and the Fan of the Week.
You know what's funny about the TNA hate?
What's funny?
Everyone's saying that we hate TNA because they don't work with us or blah, blah, blah.
When did they stop working with us?
Yeah.
I missed that.
We're going to be at the TNA house show in
David
Hammond,
Hero,
Indiana.
that doesn't fit into the point that they're trying to prove, so it's unimportant.
We're invited guests. So if we hated them, why would we be invited guests?
Our truth
Right?
says it best. The truth will set you free.
Yeah, okay. We'll start with the truth.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Dustin down in Louisiana. Dustin, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
I'm tremendous, Dustin.
I have two questions.
Yes?
Do y'all think the no DQ match will have any outside interference?
Between?
CM Punk and Triple H?
Well, I don't want to understate what's on the line in this matchup. Triple H loses. He's no longer the COO of WWE. Now, a lot of speculation as to who replaces him. Well, there was no COO before. So,
Yeah, there was.
You still got a couple things hanging out there. And I'm not sure what that noise was I heard a moment ago, but you got Kevin Nash hanging out there. You got Vince McMahon hanging out there. You got Steffi Bear hanging out there.
Johnny Ace.
Johnny Ace as well. And they didn't explain nor touch the limo ride out from last week on Raw tonight.
Big sexy.
So there are some unanswered questions on WWE programming, which again builds intrigue into that announced main event matchup for Night of Champions this Sunday. Your next question,
Right.
Dustin.
Now that Kevin Nash is gone, who do you think after Night of Champions CM Punk's going to feud with? Is it still going to be Triple H, or do you think it's going to be somebody else involved in that storyline?
Thank you very much for that call, Dustin, down in Louisiana. It seems like this isn't done after Night of Champions between Triple H and Punk.
You know, it should be. It
Really?
probably won't be. But if I'm CM Punk,
But-
then you got to go after ADR or John Cena. Say, okay, I took care of this. Now I'm going to go back after what I originally lost or got screwed over about. But I don't know. I mean, I think that I don't think Nash is finished yet. I don't think Triple H will be done with him yet. I mean, who's to say that Punk's going to even win? I mean, that's not etched in stone either. I could see Punk getting screwed, which would then help his cause. So he can go out there and say the same story every week and complain about now something a little bit more new and relevant.
And you don't hate him?
Not at all. I'm just, you know what? I'm Captain Obvious. Okay? I just point out the obvious. That's all
DC
that
Comics
is.
or Marvel?
It's a superhero. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. If Punk wins, I think that takes away some. No, not. You know what? I'll shake his hand and buy him no duels. You know, but
he prefers sharps, actually.
Okay, that'll be fine too. I mean, whatever he wants: chocolate milk, quick, Nestea, the whole thing.
Yoo-hoo.
Okay, but I think it means more if he loses, to prove the fact that the company is holding him back.
You're getting
screwing him.
way deep into Be the Booker territory here, David Hero.
Oh, yeah. All right.
That's Thursday on Prime Time.
But I didn't pick a winner. Just giving some insight, ideas.
Let's continue on the phones. Again, you can join us, 414-276-ESPN, or all over the world, 1-800-990-ESPN. Let's go to Michigan. David, you're live.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
I'm doing spectacular, tremendous, and fantastic.
I got a couple questions for you guys real quick.
All right.
First off, Triple H and Punk. I could see Triple H winning and maybe X-Pac. There's no rumors about him, W wanting to get contact with him and bring him in to screw Punk over.
Doubtful. Possible.
Probably
not.
But I don't see him coming in and working anything with CM Punk.
Well, I'm not saying with him. Maybe who knows. But my real question is, not really a question, a comment about. I like CM Punk, but I like the heel CM Punk a lot better than this one.
What do you mean?
You know, like, like when the whole Rey Mysterio and CM Punk thing, when CM Punk was like the really good, great
when he was
heel.
a coward. Now all of a sudden he found his testicular fortitude.
I just think he's more entertaining as a heel.
Isn't he sort of? Is he? Well, I guess he is a face, huh?
Well, so is Triple H. They're both baby faces.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one's really getting booed right now until Sunday.
Now, can I ask you guys one question not related to this really quick?
Go right ahead.
A couple, three, absolutely.
Sorry about that. It's about John Morrison.
Jomo.
Yes. Do you guys think John Morrison would really be in the spot he's in if Chris Benoit wouldn't have that whole thing go on with him? If he did take his place.
Yeah, because he's way too talented. I mean, the guy is a fantastic in-ring performer. The crowd connects with him. The kids and women love him. You know, it was just a matter of time. I mean, unfortunately, the whole Benoit thing may have. You know, I don't even think it even sped up his progress because he wound up going back into tag teams again anyhow. But I think John Morrison definitely
he did prove
deserves
himself,
where he
though,
is.
too, right there. He
Well,
got an opportunity, like they say. He has got a spot and an opportunity.
John,
I want to thank you guys for taking this, so I'll let you guys get back to the other callers.
all right, Bernigo.
thank you very much, David from Michigan. You know, John Morrison, I don't think I think he's been given some chances. I mean, we saw John Morrison and when he was in the Ziggler series, and they're still doing that on the house show circuit, some tremendous matchups. But is a talent like John Morrison a bit limited as to how far he can go, David Hero?
Not at all.
No?
No, I mean,
In the WWE?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think John Morrison could be a future world champion.
Hmm.
He's still young. I mean,
But doesn't he fit your frat boy mode?
not at all. He looks nothing like a frat boy.
Is it the hair?
Yeah, it's the hair. He's kind of like a Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, you know?
Mhm.
A guy that, you know, has a good look, good-looking guy, has a ton of skill, you know, does some amazing moves. I could see him as a future world champion someday. You know what? I think he is more believable than CM Punk as
Wow.
a world champion.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a time out, and you can join us on the phone lines. The number is 414-276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. I want to apologize for the delay or lack of Harry Smith, who is our scheduled guest tonight. When we come back, we'll announce our guest for next week. And believe me, you will not be disappointed. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. The best part about this is film and dancing behind the glass to the Mountie.
I got my back.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. Damian Nelson, David Hero, and the lovely Linda Kay, our social media diva.
Thank you, Leonard Robinson, for picking the Mountie.
Tonight-
Got us all moving in our seats, I think.
Absolutely. Right now on our Facebook page where you can submit those theme of themes, or the themes for the theme of themes, the Mountie goes to jail. Remember that, David Hero, from SummerSlam 91?
Against the big boss man.
Wasn't SummerSlam 91 a match made in heaven, a match made in hell?
I think you're absolutely right.
And that was not only did he go to jail, but it seems as if they kept showing him in jail.
Dropping the soap.
The Mountie goes to jail. You can get that video. You can find that video on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report. And we would like to apologize to you.
Yeah, oh, Canada.
Our scheduled guest tonight, Harry Smith. Unfortunately, he's actually in Calgary, not Tampa, where he resides, and having some phone issues is Harry Smith. So we're going to get him rescheduled to be on this program in the near future. However, next week, we are pleased to announce that joining us for the very first time in this program is David Lagana. Lagana of the I Want Wrestling podcast and of Ring of Honor Wrestling, formerly of WWE, will be with us next week right here on this very program. This should be an interesting conversation.
Absolutely.
Get some insight into Lagana's world in Ring of Honor and formerly in WWE. He's got some amazing stories to tell, and as a matter of fact,
he was in creative when CM Punk first came aboard, right?
Absolutely.
With the E?
You can listen to his podcast, IWantWrestling.com, right now. A very, very interesting tribute, a very well-done tribute to those involved in the wrestling world the days after 9/11/2001. IWantWrestling.com. David Lagana joins us live next week right here on the Pro Wrestling Report for the first time. David Hero, question.
Yes?
Pop quiz, if you will.
Oof. See?
And I want to hear, we'll put this question out on our Facebook page, and we'll get to the results at the end of the program. This question came up earlier while we were watching WWE RAW, and it's a question that I don't think can be easily answered.
Then why are you asking me?
I'm asking the people. That's why we're putting it on our Facebook page.
Gotcha.
While the people answer, I'd love to hear your insight into it as well, or your what you'd like to call opinion.
My hate?
Just for CM Punk.
Okay.
Which wrestling match would be a better wrestling match? The already announced John Cena versus The Rock match, WrestleMania 28, or
versus The Rock.
The Rock versus Randy Orton.
Oh,
I'm talking main event matchup, two men, middle of the ring.
Are we talking wrestling
everything's
or
built
selling
around.
tickets?
We're talking wrestling.
Oh, Randy Orton and The Rock, hands down. Hands down.
Why?
Because Randy Orton is the best wrestler in the world right now.
Really?
Yes.
Better than Kurt Angle?
You watch, yeah, absolutely better than Kurt Angle right now. Right now, there's no one that can touch Randy Orton. And you know what? Some people will say AJ Styles.
John Cena touched, Cody Rhodes touched him tonight.
Yeah?
Just saying.
Okay. Listen, we're just talking about overall in-ring performance. Randy Orton is top-notch. And I think him and The Rock could have a great match, you know.
There's no doubt about it. Well, you know, The Rock is so polarizing that he can, or so dynamic, rather, that he can have a great match with anybody. And Randy Orton is almost the same way.
What would you rather see? Randy Orton pull The Rock in through the ropes and give him the DDT, or John Cena giving The Rock the five-knuckle shuffle?
Are you asking that question?
You're saying that. You're bring up the attitude adjustment if you're going to compare moves.
No, then go RKO.
Well, okay, but
when you're talking the move that sets up the move. I don't think anybody wants to see John Cena give The Rock the knuckle shuffle. I think they'd rather see the DDT through the ropes.
The question is wrestling match, because I can hear it now.
Yeah.
Not marquee WrestleMania main event, but wrestling match. And that question could be asked in many different scenarios. But you can answer that particular question on our Facebook page right now, Linda, because people have short memories sometimes. How do you get there? I mean, obviously you need a computer and a keyboard and a mouse.
Absolutely.
Or maybe an iPad or a touchpad or a
BlackBerry.
Zoom or a BlackBerry?
Zoom.
You can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report, and it looks like we've already got some votes in.
50-50?
We'll wait. It's not a raffle. We're going to be taking your phone calls, though. We'll get to a caller now, and you can join us as well, 414-276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. Let's go to Denver. Ryan, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Rocky Mountain.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Tremendous.
So I got two questions for you, one regarding the E and one regarding TNA.
All right.
Regarding the E, since we're seeing this feud between Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger, between the two, who do you think could be the better babyface, Ziggler or Swagger?
Great question. I know your guy, David Hero, is Swagger. My guy, of course, is Ziggler. Better babyface, though.
For me, Dolph Ziggler is a better babyface than Jack Swagger.
Sheamus now is a babyface, who I'm loving, by the way. I just want to know, since it's obvious one of those two are going to turn face, I just want to know your guys' opinion on who would be better.
Well, it's definitely going to be Swagger's going to turn babyface. But I could see the swerve there, too. But right now, the way it looks is Swagger. But, boy, I think Dolph Ziggler could be a fantastic babyface. He can sell a ton of merchandise.
Absolutely.
You have to change his Twitter. His current Twitter name is @HeelZiggler.
Yeah, but
it was real Ziggler before.
Mm-hmm.
And your next question, Ryan?
And regarding last night's pay-per-view with Bobby Roode winning the Bound for Glory series, do you buy Bobby Roode as a true superstar with some of the regards of like an AJ Styles, a Kurt Angle, or even a guy like Jeff Hardy or Sting? Do you buy Robert Roode as like a true superstar? Do you think he can be a true superstar?
Do I think he's a great wrestler? Absolutely. Is he a superstar yet? No. Bound for Glory with Kurt Angle should make him into a superstar.
Do you think he can be?
Oh, absolutely. He has the whole tool set. I mean, he's got a great look. He can wrestle, and he can talk.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for that call, Ryan, out in Denver. And, Ryan, you bring up a good point and something we definitely need to talk about. This past weekend's No Surrender pay-per-view from TNA Wrestling. And I guess an explanation is owed to some of you who've asked about our behavior last week as it pertains to TNA Wrestling.
Now we have to explain ourselves?
This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. I almost during that break I was doing bench press.
705 pounds.
At 722 for me. I'm getting ready for that matchup with Chris Masters on December 3rd at Blizzard Brawl, because you know what? He ain't seen nothing yet. Until he steps in the middle of that squared circle with this guy, he hasn't wrestled yet. All right? Wait till you find out who's been training me. Wait till you find out the team of trainers I put together. Money, no object. Time of the essence. Blizzard Brawl, December 3rd.
Do me a favor.
It's going to be tremendous.
I'm only going to ask one thing of you on the night of Blizzard Brawl.
Yeah, what?
Just give me the exact number of lights in the ceiling. That's all I want to know.
Thank you, Dustin Dene, for choosing Dino Bravo.
Dino Bravo is a great
Now you
deal.
hate me, too.
No, I don't hate you. Honest to God, all kidding aside, I'm a little concerned about your well-being.
Oh, I'll be fine. Bro, look, best training team in the world.
But that's not going to prepare you for the
It'll be
kicking.
fine. I got some prelim matches. Got some unannounced matches, some unadvertised specials all over the country to get ready.
Okay.
Yep. I've already, I'm not going to share any secrets.
Well, please don't.
Last week, David Hero on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television, which moves to Channel 24 on September 24th following Ring of Honor Wrestling, which will be airing at 9 o'clock on Channel 24.
Did you see me on Tuesday night or on Thursday
Night Lights on My 24? I did not see you, but I did hear that you were live at the Cedarburg game on Thursday Night Lights on My 24. Coverage of local football on Channel 24.
And you're going to be down at the Kenosha game on Thursday Night Lights.
Absolutely. I will be on the sideline.
My 24 Milwaukee.
And be sure to tune into that Thursday night, 7 o'clock.
You can do it.
Oh, I'll be fine.
I'm sure you will be.
But David Harrell last week on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television, we did a regular segment on the show called Be the Booker. And, you know, to be honest with you, I'm not sure I can blame you for your little temper tantrum you threw and your frustration on Primetime last week, because when it came time to do Be the Booker, you walked out. You didn't do it. 4 matches had been announced at the time for the pay-per-view. 4 matches. This was 3 days before the pay-per-view.
Was the main event.
My question, which we're going to answer in more detail this Thursday on Primetime, but there's been a lot of people saying there's some TNA hate coming from you and I here in the studio.
SummerSlam only had 4 matches, but you did the SummerSlam.
SummerSlam only needed 1 match announced.
Hashtag here's the thing. SummerSlam announced their main events. No Surrender, they only announced 2 matches from their Bound for Glory series. What else did we even have? We had, 4 matches. It was like booking Impact. I don't get paid to book Impact. I get paid to book pay-per-views. And the fact of the matter is, you know what? The air I breathe is some good quality air. I'm not going to waste it on 4 Impact matches that no one's going to watch. Now, with that being said, if they would have announced the triple threat match with Kurt Angle, Sting, and Ken Anderson, I would have booked that. I would have given my thoughts and opinions.
And they did announce that triple threat matchup for the TNA World Championship, the main event of the pay-per-view. 1 hour and 43 minutes. 1 hour and 43 minutes into the program.
Yes, going up against
on Thursday's Impact.
Going up against the Packers and the Saints NFL kickoff.
I know. I mean, baseball is such a juggernaut, and for TNA and for Impact,
football. Oh, idiot. And you know what? Let me just say this about
Please
TNA.
say this.
We have a lot of friends that work in TNA, whether it be in the front office or whether it be talent. talent relations, on agents, whatever. It's no secret that Al Snow, Ken Anderson, Matt Morgan, the Pope, friends of ours. Okay? Eric Young is coming to wrestle for GLCW on Saturday. If we didn't have a good relationship with TNA, that would not be happening. But here, I want to know this. Who is the guy that booked the pay-per-views for TNA and says, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put a pay-per-view on opening football weekend, and let's make sure that the football game that's going against us is between a New York team and the Dallas Cowboys, two of the most passionate fans, teams, cities in the entire universe. It was poor planning. It wasn't well thought out. So when they get the buy rates and they see there's only, okay, you know what? Any number I put out there is going to be insulting, so make up your own number and insert it. They will now know why, because they went up against the most popular sport in the world, and they went up against the Cowboys and the Jets on opening weekend. That's why when they do those kind of things, that company is destined for failure.
It was a year ago. I'm sorry, it was 6 months ago where you sat in that very chair, in this very studio, on this very show, and said, and I quote, TNA will be out of business in a year. You said those words.
I did say that.
And this was after Victory Road, the Jeff Hardy incident. Jeff Hardy, who's now back in TNA as of last Thursday's Impact. You said those words. 6 months into it. You still feel the same way?
Absolutely. I mean, in the running a business sense, you would have to think so. I mean, think about it. They go into a pay-per-view on September 11th, announce the main event on a radio show by Kurt Angle by accident before it even gets on TV 4 days before the pay-per-view to go up against the NFL season and a super hot Jets-Cowboys game. Who does – I mean, listen, when I book a show, I want to make sure I'm not going up against a high school football game in my area. I want to make sure there's no homecoming, there's no prom. You look at the schedule to see what your competition is. And they don't do that. And I know for a fact that the people that wrestle in TNA are sick of it and they're frustrated because they go out there and they bust their butt at these house shows.
As they did this past Sunday at No Surrender, by the way.
The guys work hard. I'm not saying that they're just, going out there and going through the motions. They are actually going out there and putting on some great matches. But you got to wonder how much faith are they going to have in this company when they keep making
amateur,
como se dice, boneheaded decisions? I mean, who does that? Vince McMahon would never have a pay-per-view going up against the opening weekend of the NFL. He wouldn't do it.
How can you know when the Royal Rumble is going to happen?
It's between the championship games and the Super Bowl.
It's usually on Pro Bowl Sunday, I think, is when it happens.
Yeah.
And that's all planning. But again, I think what may have been misinterpreted,
the Royal Rumble is bigger than the Pro Bowl.
Which does, exactly. I mean, it's in Hawaii.
TNA is not bigger than week 1 of the NFL.
Exhibition or season?
Here's
what does deserve an apology, I think, to our listeners and viewers. What we did on primetime last Thursday, and I think it's important to point out this, David Harrell.
You're going to apologize for
We
this?
still did a post-show, right or wrong.
We did.
Still did a post-show. We covered TNA, the pay-per-view.
We tweeted about it. We still
just
bought
like
the show.
Any other pay-per-view. But one thing that may have been misinterpreted, it was never and not at all a knock on any of the people who put their life on the line in the middle of that ring for Impact Wrestling, TNA Wrestling, each and every time they have a show. It was never about that. It was the things you mentioned, but most importantly, it was the fact that some 3 days before the pay-per-view, there was not a marquee match or a main event match announced for the show. That was the reason for it. So if people thought that there was some knocking of Gunner, Bobby Roode, Bully Ray, who, by the way, I will say could be the best heel in professional wrestling right now, if people thought there was some knocking against them, that certainly was not the intention. So for that, David Hero does apologize.
No. I'm not apologizing. You can apologize for yourself, but I did what as a wrestling
Did you do it
fan.
for The Rock?
No, listen. This is the funny thing is that on Tuesday, remember we were sitting there, we were going over the pre-show stuff about the pay-per-view. It was Wednesday. I sent Ken a text. I'm like, hey, are you even on the show? I need some points. You know?
Yep.
I mean, I didn't even know if he was going to be on or not. It's crazy that it's not organized.
We tried. You tried.
I looked at it. I swear to God.
We sat there for 30 minutes trying to figure out what might be on this pay-per-view before we did Be the Booker.
And what did we say? I'm like, you know what, Damien? If we do this, they're going to announce these other matches. It's going to look ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
They announced
but there's no defense needed.
No. You know what?
It was what
we
it
made
was.
a decision, and we stuck with it. Because you know what? Did you listeners, viewers, really want me to book Impact? That's what it comes down to. Or a book a house show. That's what it looked like.
What I think we do deserve to the fans is a more detailed explanation of why some of these things are problems and what some of the fundamental issues may be in TNA wrestling. And, by the way, what are some of the things they've done very well over the last year or the last 6 months? Because they have done some things very well, including the build of Crimson, this relaunch of Robert Roode, which happened last night, and much more. So, over the course of the next several weeks at PWRshow.com, there will be a special edition video series where we will break down the business of wrestling specific to TNA wrestling. We're going to look at what they need to do in their business, what successes they need to build on, what challenges they need to grow from. We're going to look at the talents that may not be as valuable to the company as some people may seem. We're going to look at the talents who are extremely valuable to the company. We're going to tear it apart, put it all back together, like somebody who gets a new cell phone, the new iPhone 5. When I got it, that's the first thing I did.
Mm-hmm.
Then I lost it in that bar.
No, you dumped it in a glass of Jameson.
Stop. Hey,
don't
lie. You're going to get me
You're going
sued.
to be all honest and everything, and then just start being honest.
A several week-long series. We're going to look at TNA in more detail than anybody's looked at. It's not the rise. It's not the fall. It's just looking at TNA and explaining to the listening audience and the viewing audience where we're coming from. Because, David Hero, you would have to agree with this. If TNA fails, the wrestling business fails.
Absolutely.
If WWE fails, there is no wrestling business.
None.
So it is...
Wait a minute, that means we're out of a job.
And I hear that line is long, so I don't want to be in it. We're going to talk about the actual results from TNA No Surrender when we come back here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Follow us on Twitter for breaking news, live wrestling chat, and pure hilarity. Head over to twitter.com/PWR Show and be part of the conversation. It's time for the Superhero Song of the Week on the Pro Wrestling Report here on ESPN Radio.
Oh, Canada. This is what you guys give me.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. I never thought Alanis Morissette would be playing on this station, on this show.
Isn't it ironic?
It's a great song. What's that thing she says about the theater?
That's the other song.
What? Wasn't she married to the Green Lantern?
I think she still might be.
No.
Not anymore?
He moved on. He got what he needed.
He got the ring. Well, he can make whatever he wants then.
Want to thank everybody from Facebook for chiming in to this week's theme of themes. And
Green Lantern ring, not another ring. I'm sorry,
we appreciate all your feedback for some great Canadian theme songs. We'll see what the theme of theme is next week when we're back here live on Monday night.
Bacon with John Kerry?
No.
Tremendous.
Why is it round?
John Kerry, he's a big guy.
Canadian bacon.
Oh.
It's round.
Yeah. It's like a ham. Damien. You're not very cultured.
Next week, our schedule. We want to apologize, actually, again, for not having Harry Smith on tonight. We will be rescheduling that interview. He's having some communication issues as he is in Canada, and sends his apologies to all of you for not being able to join us tonight.
You know what's amazing is we get callers from Afghanistan, but we can't get someone to call them from Canada. That's amazing.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Callers from Japan, Ireland, and they're able to get through okay. Maybe it's the outbound line.
Blame Canada, right?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. I've never heard that term. Next week, our guest, Dave Lagana, will be with us for the first time on this program. Should be an interesting conversation with him as well. And TNA No Surrender was last night, as we said. And the results, David Hero, 9 matches in this pay-per-view, which I thought overall was a good pay-per-view, by the way. However, as with any pay-per-view, there were highlights and lowlights. Opening matchup was Kid Cash versus Jesse Sorensen for the number 1 contendership for the X Division Championship. Jesse Sorensen actually winning that matchup, David Hero. Did you just look at your autographed football from Jesse Sorensen?
No build-up for this guy. And now
Sorensen?
Yeah.
Him and Kid Cash on Impact for the last 2 or 3 weeks have been building towards this match.
Kid Cash has been fantastic. I don't know. It's like...
I'm not sure you should... Let me finish this.
Fine, I'm just making my notes.
Bound for Glory series matchup. It was James Storm versus Bully Ray. Bully Ray winning that matchup. Winter is the new Knockouts champion, defeating Mickey James.
That I like.
Hot potato, hot potato. Devon and the Pope did not defeat the tag team champions Mexican America, who walks out still the tag team champion.
You know what, though? But they lost to the girls. They didn't lose to Mexican America. The Idas were all over them.
Matt Morgan defeated Samoa Joe with the Carbon Footprint. Bobby Roode defeated Gunner to go on to the finals, which would be announced after that match by Eric Bischoff in a, and I quote, unadvertised and unpromoted match. Now, David Hero, I think it's important to make this point. I made it last night on the post show.
So was the main event.
For 4 months, we are looking at this Bound for Glory series, these points in the journey, and then embedded within a pay-per-view is the matchup to determine who would be the ultimate winner of that series.
Boy, I never would have guessed it would have been Bobby Roode.
It was Crimson for a long time. Then it was Matt Morgan, potentially. Then maybe Samoa Joe.
Rob Van Dam would have been the guy.
See, and that's one of the things they did good, the Bound for Glory series.
You know what?
Until the end.
I will say this. You know what? Everybody criticizes the TNA booking.
Like you.
Like everybody. You got to realize how much thought and preparation and time they put into booking that tournament so that they knew how many points they had to get to win it.
It was a bit convoluted on No Surrender, though, because it was like you had to get a submission win, which, again, I think built some intrigue. You had to get a submission win in some scenarios in order to get enough points to win. Ultimately, it ended in a tie, which is why the match happened. I get that, but at the same time, if you build something for 4 months, maybe that would have been better suited on a promoted program and not unadvertised or unpromoted, like Eric Bischoff said. But be that as it may, new X Division champion in Austin Aries, who David Hero could be one of the new bright shining stars of TNA wrestling.
I think Austin Aries is. I tweeted this last night. It's exactly what TNA needs. He's the guy that has fire. He's believable. He cuts a great promo. A hell of a worker. I think he's a good building block for this company.
Not unfamiliar to TNA territory or our territory here in Milwaukee, as that's where he's from. Bobby Roode defeats Bully Ray. Bully Ray, who I still think is one of the best heels in professional wrestling right now. And without Bully Ray being as good as he was last night in No Surrender, David Hero, would Bobby Roode have gotten the support of the fans as he did?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, beer money.
Okay, look at his match with Gunner.
Okay.
People they didn't care much at all during that matchup.
Because they knew Bobby was going to go over.
When?
When James Storm had the big pep rally getting a
No, I mean
chant,
W-I-N win. That was a question mark. He said go over. Some people don't know what that means.
Why do you do that? You
ask
throw
questions.
me off
I'm the host
completely.
of the year.
If you're listening to this show, you understand what we're talking about.
The main event, Kurt Angle versus Sting versus Ken Anderson for the World Championship of TNA Wrestling.
I will say this. It was nice to see Ken not doing the job in another three-way.
The JOB on the PPV?
Yes.
Not a bad match, but that crowd was deflated.
You know what? They
had their moments.
Listen, the only moment they had was when they chanted USA, and even that was kind of weak for being on 9/11. I love Orlando. It's one of my favorite places to go in the entire world. I don't go there.
Turkey Lake Road. Gobble, gobble.
That's what happens there.
Turkey Lake and OBT are two entirely different.
But we're talking about, see, there you go again. Stop it. But why? I mean, you have Sting, Kurt Angle, and Kenny Anderson, three of their top stars, and the crowd acts like they don't care. Maybe they don't care. They don't pay to get in, so they're not invested to boo or cheer or whatnot.
Some fans did. They got the VIP package, $100 a head or something like that. Let's go to Orlando for our final caller of the evening. We've got Glenn on line 1. Glenn, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Hello, Glenn.
Tick, tick, boom.
Glenn, are you there? Looks like we lost Glenn. Anyways, sorry about that. We did attempt to take that call. We're just having phone issues tonight, David Hero.
It was a full moon officially yesterday. I don't know if it's still...
Did you see the man in it?
You know what? I did see a full moon.
Retained TNA World Championship at No Surrender last night. David Hero, overall, was the pay-per-view for its content worth $35?
Yeah, absolutely. It was worth $35. The guys worked hard. They established Bobby Roode as a main event player, and Jesse. Wow, think about this: Bound for Glory, two guys that have never been in the spots they're in. Jesse Sorensen, the new number one contender, and now Bobby Roode, the number one contender, going to the Super Bowl of wrestling pay-per-view next month in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? And next week, we're going to be back here on 540 ESPN Monday night. Yes. That's some loud sea pipes. The hair, there we go. I love sea pipes, but dang-alicious.
Popalicious?
Next, whoa, look at that. Time's a-creeping. Next week, Lagana joins us live right here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Dave Lagana. And next, this Thursday night, PWR Prime Time on demand at PWRshow.com and on Channel 14. But next week, things change forever. The Pro Wrestling Report moves to Channel 24. And check me out this Thursday night, before Prime Time and before Impact, on the sideline on Thursday Night Lights on Channel 24 in Milwaukee. David Hero.
Is he a tight end or a wide receiver?
Running back. This is Damian Nelson. Say thanks for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.